Hi, I'm Frederik, and welcome to Semensys. Let me quickly jump into SemansysNext. It's our cloud environment that helps you do digital reporting towards legislators, banks, insurance firms, and anybody who's using a taxonomy to get the right data in. So as Semensys, everything that we do is API driven. If you have a software that actually is connected to any type of administration or data that you need to report on through a taxonomy, we can support you in that, from XBRL to a non-XBRL. Everything is available through our developer portal. And if you want to have a key so you can actually activate everything, just let me know. Let me quickly jump into Semensys Cloud. It's our cloud environment that helps you actually create the reports. So to bring it in short, we have a few modules. The taxonomy module, which actually shows us everything that's around the taxonomy. It goes in depth of what's in the taxonomy and what needs to be reported. Input import, that's actually the creation of an XBRL instance, as we call it. It's the final report that you're going to deliver to any regulator. The validation part, where we make sure that we validate the report that you just created. The rendering part, where we actually make sure that whatever you have created, we can actually see. We make it visually attractive. So an accountant can check it, but also for your own internal administration. Delivery, which only includes, of course, the delivery of your report, and analysis, where we actually make sure that you get to see what you've been doing and finalize your report, but also look at other reports from other people. Let me quickly jump into this. If we go into the taxonomy, this is actually a library that actually we fulfill for our customers. So depending on your needs, we will make sure that the taxonomy that you need to report on will be in this database. For this test environment right now, I'm showing you a Dutch customer. So in this case, we get to click on a Chamber of Commerce. We see the values in here and the content of taxonomy. So that's the digital report that was created by this governmental institute, which is the Chamber of Commerce. And then I get to click through all the topics that are actually in the report that you need to report on. And it tells me what you need to report on, but also the dimensions, in this case, if there are labels, even labels, which is fine. It helps you. Not something that's most important for most people. Most people actually start here with the input and import of a creation of a report. So in this case, here again, we have all different taxonomies. And what we do, we actually take the taxonomies that are live into databases around the world from different legislators, and we ensure they get to be a form. It sounds easy, but to understand really in short, this is like an encyclopedia of all kinds of data from assertions, calculations, and there's a lot of data in there. Trust me. So what we do from this point on, you get to do a lot of things here. For one, for instance, create a report from scratch, but also continue with a report, which could well be living in another software environment, and you want to make sure it's actually being prepped really well, or start uploading a document that you actually created through one of our CSVs. So here you get to download, for instance, an inline template or download a template, which is actually a CSV file, and then you can map the data through Excel, for instance, into the CSV file, which helps you do the delivery or the creation of the report really fast. So in this case, I can even click on the continue of report because, of course, I want to be easy. And then once it pops up, you get to work on it, which is really, really handy. But it only works on different data. So this is only on XBRL. Well, right now for this moment. The next part I have to input and import is actually validation. And it's very important because this is actually where we can take the value from your report. You can create some report somewhere else, but at least do the validation. Why? It's the last check before sending in this document to any legislator, which is very important because you don't want to send out the wrong document. You don't want to send in the wrong numbers. At the end, a taxonomy most of the times is connected to type of, well, report, of course, but also means that you need to pay taxes on it. You don't want to make sure, or you want to make sure actually that the report that you're sending in is correct. So in this case, let's say we took the same Chamber of Commerce, we created the document already. I can select it. I can see the document when I've created this, so it's already an old one. Apologies. And then see the different settings. So from core, dimensions, calculations, assertions, uniformation, and duplicates. It's a lot, and not every document needs to be checked on all of these, but it's good to check anyways. And then what we do is actually we give you an overview. So in this case, it tells me there's a notification. Some kind of report here there could be an issue. We also get different notifications. Errors, for instance, That's something we need to do. And warnings. So warnings could be something else that you just need to check. At the same time, what we like really a lot about the system is that we have different validations for it. So in this case, the basic XBRL validation, which is about all those parts from core to dimension, like we just mentioned, but also, for instance, for the SMAN ASEF, which has a different type of validation. And again, for SBRNL, for instance, in this case, it's a Dutch environment that I'm showing. Then once you've done the validation, to get some extra value from this, you just create a report in XBRL. You can download the XBRL. I can also download this to JSON file or PDF, or even send it to anybody else to start working on this. Again, it's an overview of the values that we've just created. That's it. It's a validation report. From that point on, let's move forward because the report, you can't read it. And most accountants or a CFO wants to see this report in full. Now we have to have a few reports available. It's the basic report, the constant presentation, presentation plus, there's a VAT ICP report, and there's a lot of extra things here below. But let me jump to it after that. First, I click on the report I've just created or uploaded the report. I click on the table that I want, so the view. I can change the language, add logos, change colors. Not going to do it for now. Click on it and it will create the report. At the same time, what's interesting to know is that at the side here, you see uniformation, merging reports, HTML to inline, and inline to XBRL. It's different formats actually, where you can actually check the data that you've already done and then use it in a different way. For instance, if I have created already the data and I want to make a nice pretty print out of it through an HTML, I can do so. If I have an inline document, probably I want to change it to XBRL. Why? I want to check the data. It's all possible here in the backend. And meanwhile, the document has loaded, and so here we get the CD report. It's a basic annual report from the company called BVA BV, which we just created, of course, for this test purposes, and it tells me a lot of data on this company, which is very nice. So in this case, we see a lot of content, and it helps us. So now we get to send it or download the PDF, and this document is done. From this point on, we'll go to delivery. And delivery is very important as well because it's actually the final part in the delivery of the report. You are creating this to start communicating this to different companies, or in this case, to a chamber of commerce. So here actually we manage your certificates. So you get to upload your certificates. You get to choose to use our certificates, which is an option as well if the portal allows this. In this case, for the Netherlands, DigiPort is the main one, and the second one for the Netherlands in this case is SBR Nexus. So now I can start the report, I can create it, I can upload it, I can say this, and I want to use this certificate in this case. Then I upload the file, I'll select it, and I press for send. I'm not going to do it right now, it's a test environment, but it shows you what we can do. And in the last part, we have analysis. So analysis actually, again, it's a small part, but it's a very important part because this gives us the option for all the XBRLs that are out there to read them. So you can find XBRLs on competitors, customers, suppliers, and it helps you get a good insight of your customer or competitor. In this case, we can upload a document. I've already got a few. I'll click one, press next, and there we go. It's already there, and now I get to see the balance sheet in this case, or there's a table in there. Well, it's very nice to see, of course. We can also pivot it. It helps us to show the report in a different way. So in this case, there's all the data. There's an inline viewer. That's for document actually that's already created, and we call them inline XBRL. So you can upload them here and see them here. You can compare documents as well, meaning that if you have done already a report and you want to make sure that the report is similar or you want to see the difference between two reports you create for the same year, that's what you do here. And our latest update here right now is report chat, which actually means that we can actually talk to the report. So in this case, if I create the report, I can see the report as well. So here's the year balance, and it has a lot of pages. And now I want to know what's in there. So I can say, for instance, compare, I think this is 2021 to 2022. I enter it, I ask the question, and it tells me exactly what I want to know, of course, because I want to see what's in this report. And it's too long to read. So the chat with AI will help me to get the data in here. And of course, as you can see, it's 14 pages, so it's a lot. So now it gives me an overview. It tells me exactly what's going on in 2022, 2021, and the result. So in this case, it helps me a lot to get the data that I wanted. So it's helpful, and I get to chat as a CFO or as an accountant with my year report. Right now, this is just 14 pages, but you can imagine that you can upload a file, for instance, of 200 or 300 pages and figure out who's the responsible person for something or do an analysis of this report. Now, it's still in beta version, so it is available, but limited. And we're growing this by the week. So anxious to see what you think about it. Enjoy it. So from the last point, getting into all the assets around it, clicking on the little icon here, it will show me all the customer corners. So this is actually where I can set up different users, files, documents, etc., etc. So if you want to change something or add somebody, this is where you do it. If you have any request or you want to see how this works or get a login, let me know.